to day 3 of the Month of Biz Love Challenge. During this challenge, we are all working on loving our handmade business a little bit more. And we are doing that through these daily video lessons combined with daily Instagram challenges. I'll post the challenge and then you post your reply either on my own Instagram account or to yours. And when you post it on yours, use the hashtag Month of Biz Love. And then click through and check out everybody else's replies. They are so freaking inspiring and awesome. There are so many amazing makers and artists taking part already. If you're finding it later or you're just now joining us, you are not late. You can jump right in either on day 1 or day 3 or wherever you find yourself. There is a workbook and journal that goes along with this to help you actually answer the questions. I'm going to talk through some of the questions in the video lessons. I mentioned them in the Instagram post, but for you to actually have space to answer them yourself, get the workbook totally free, taraswiger.com/monthofbizlove. And if you're watching on YouTube, there should be a little thing that pops up either here or here with a direct link to that page. So welcome. Today, the challenge is this. You need to get clear on what kind of business you have now. Now, you may remember in day 1, I asked you what your dream business is. And day 2, what is your mission? When you go from that dream business into like the real world, what does that look like with your internal and external mission for your business? And now I want you to, you know the high level, you know where you want to be, but what do you actually have right now? This is super important to getting clear on your business, because if you know what you want to get and you know what your mission is, but you never stop to notice what you have in the moment, a couple things are going to happen. 1, you're not going to realize that you are moving closer to your business all the time. 2, you're not going to realize if you're not moving in the right direction. You might think you're doing things that are in alignment with your mission or towards your dream business, but if you don't regularly assess where you are right now, you don't know for sure. And 3, there's a third reason, even though my mind just went blank. Looking at where you are now will encourage you to see how far you've come, right? Because you're always moving towards that dream business, or if you're moving away from it, you can redirect, but it'll help you realize how far you've come. So as you look at what kind of business you have now, the workbook asks you some questions that are very similar to the Dream Biz questions, like how do you spend your time now? You can actually write it out, or I like to do a pie chart. So how do you spend your working time now? How are you spending the time in your business? How much money are you making? Because that's part of your dream business. How much money you want to be making? How much money are you actually making? If you don't know your numbers, we're going to explore this in a future challenge, but that is something you need to start looking at with collecting your sales numbers so you can look at them. So what are the numbers? Like, what are your sales? What do you want them to be? What tools are you using to share your message, and do you like them? Now, another way that in my programs I ask people to get oriented in what kind of business they have now is to make a mind map. So in both Liftoff and Starship, which you can find more about Liftoff at taraswiger.com/lift. It's not open as I record this, but it will be open in the future. You can get more information there, taraswiger.com/lift. In Liftoff, when you very first join, you go through a program called Chart Your Stars, which over the course of a week helps you picture the big picture of where you want to go, and then also helps you see where you are right now, and then kind of see those steps in between. Now, where you are right now, one of the exercises I have people do is make a mind map of your business. And this sometimes like flummoxes people. They're not sure what they should put down. Literally, I want you to think through what is in your business right now. Maybe for you, you'd rather list and not mind map. Maybe you want to use some program to mind map it. All that really matters is you think through what are your everything to do with your business. So like for me, it might be products, and it might be people, and it might be platforms like your website or your Etsy shop or Twitter or Instagram. It might be tools. It might be your resources, like how much money do you have in the bank, or how much have people invested in your business, or what is the size of your email list? Like that's one of your resources. Your resources are also the supplies you have on hand. And then what have you created? So your products and everything you have made, all your product ideas that you're coming up with, all your projects that you're working on. Now, I like to look at these in a mind map form, so that I can see how they all connect. But you could also just make a list, and that just getting it down on paper. What's great about that is it shows you everything that's involved in your business right now that you often forget is actually a resource and an opportunity and and is driving your business forward. So in the very beginning of your business, you might just have some ideas and things you want to do and a couple people who are supporting you. But getting that on paper makes you realize how much you have right now. So that's one way of getting oriented in your business. The other way is to answer those questions I asked you earlier, which is in the workbook. Now, once you get all of your what is in your business right now questions answered and you get it down on paper, I want you to do two things. The first thing is for you to notice everything that is similar between what you have right now and what you want to have. Okay? All of the things that are in alignment, even if they're not to the same degree. So for example, in my dream business, this is just an example, this isn't my dream business, I want to work in a light-filled studio that I have all to myself just for my art or craft, right? That might be your dream business. In real life, you might have a table next to a window for your sewing machine. Well, so you do have the beginnings of a studio. My own sewing setup is that I have to take down and put away and like my sewing machine each time I sew. So a table that my sewing machine lived on would be like a step up, right? So you can look at what are the areas. It might not be to the degree that you want. The studio example for me is for the longest time in my dream business, I'd have an office that was really bright that I could shoot videos on with a pretty backdrop and that I could work in. Well, that's my dream scenario. In real life, I share an office with my husband. Kind of half of it is my video studio. The other half of it is like our desk and his comic book organization stuff and office supplies and our printer and all that. So it's not the full picture of what I want. Like I want it to be all hot pink and hot orange. And instead, because we share it, there's some hot pink, but there's also a big Captain America print and a Wonder Woman print and comic book boxes, right? So, but those are things that are in common between what I have and what I want. So it also might be, you might look at the areas of your sales. If what you were trying to do is, in your dream business, you're making X dollars a month, and right now you're making some other, like a quarter of X, well, look at how far you've come to get where you are now, and you're on the path to get to the dream business, right? If you did have $0 in sales, and now you have $10 a month in sales, and you want to get to $1,000 a month in sales, you are on that graph towards $1,000 a month in sales. That's how I want you to think about it. So the first step is to notice all of the similarities between your dream business and what you have now. Now, I'm not saying everything will have a similarity, right? Not everything will. But by acknowledging where the similarities are, you will see where you're on the right path. Also, you will acknowledge a lot of the lovable things about your business. A lot of the things in your business are going fine. They're at least going in the right direction. And you need to stop and acknowledge that. It's going to help you love your business more. When you get clear about the things that are already going well, you're going to feel better about your business. And you're going to be able to recognize and celebrate, which we'll talk about in an upcoming challenge. You're going to be able to recognize and celebrate what's already awesome about your business, and it's just going to make you feel more loving towards it. Now, the second thing you're going to do is identify all the things that are not there yet. In between the business you have and your dream business, be specific, be really clear. I make $10 a month and I want to make $1,000 a month. My dream business has me spending my time. We can't forget about time. Like 10% of it is sewing and 20% of it is admin and, the other 80% is something else. What I would like it to be is 80% sewing and 20% admin. That, acknowledge what the differences are and be very, very explicit about them, because this is going to guide you in what you do next. What we do next in the challenge is get clear about the actual actions we need to take to close that gap. What we want to do is see that gap first. So first step, acknowledge what you have and celebrate it. Notice all the places where there isn't much of a gap. The second step is to identify the gap so that you can see what you need to do. There's a term for this, but my brain is blanking on what it is, where you have to basically make obvious the gap between where you are and where you want to go. And in doing that, it then becomes more clear the steps to close that gap. But if instead you are swirling in your own head about how your business isn't what you want it to be because what you really want it to be is blah, 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 and you're just swirling and you're not getting it down on paper and you're not identifying the gaps, it's really hard to make forward progress. So this is one of the ways, acknowledging those gaps, that you're going to love your business more, because you're going to realize, oh, there are things I could do. This isn't just, I suck, everything sucks, nothing is what I want it to be. There are actual steps that would take me from this to this, but you have to recognize what those are first. Okay? So that is today's challenge. Identify the business you have right now. Identify the resources, identify how you spend your time, identify what you make money, identify what products you've created, identify, what skills you've learned. So even if you're in the first 6 months of your business, you have probably learned how to add things to your shopping cart, you've decided on some products, you've set some prices, you've written some descriptions, you've taken some photographs. Those are all new skills even before you have your first sale. If you've had if you've been in business for a while, you've accumulated so many skills and so many supplies and so many resources. I just want you to be very clear about that, because acknowledging these resources and recognizing what they are going to help you in the next steps. They're going to help you move forward towards getting closer and closer to your dream business. But I want you guys to keep in mind, I want to be super clear about something. You are not going to get to your dream business in 30 days. And you probably aren't going to get to your dream business ever, in the sense that as you get closer, your dream will change. The goal is not to get to the ideal business in X amount of time. The goal is to always be moving your business towards more and more towards what you want, so that it's more and more what you love, so it's more and more spending your time the way you want it to spend it, so it's more and more in alignment with your mission. But your mission isn't something to accomplish. Your mission is something to constantly carry out in your life. So the goal with Month of Biz Love and with your whole entire business is not to get to that dream business. It's to make your current business more and more like it, more and more enjoyable, more and more lovable, and bring more and more love and joy and light into other people's lives. So this gap is always going to exist. Always. I mean, if you are a person who wants awesomeness in your life, you're always going to feel a gap, because life is not constantly awesome and things don't constantly go the way we want them to go. So by you having that gap, you haven't failed in some way. You've simply been living a human life. So I just wanted to encourage you on that. I now want to hear about the business you currently have on Instagram. Go post. Use the hashtag Month of Biz Love. That's the only way I can find it. Use the hashtag Month of Biz Love, and by using that hashtag, you're going to connect more with the community. There are a community of people using a hashtag. They're all really fantastic. And don't forget to get the workbook. It's going up. People were saying earlier in Periscope that the workbook helped them figure out what their mission is way easier than they thought they were going to. The questions guided them right into it, as opposed to they thought it was going to be this big complicated thing. So the workbook will help you identify what kind of business you have, what your mission is, and the future challenges. You'll definitely need it. So thank you so much. The workbook is at taraswiger.com/monthofbizlove, and the hashtag to use on Instagram is monthofbizlove. And tomorrow's video will be live on YouTube again tomorrow, so be sure that you've subscribed. Thank you so much, and have a very enthusiastic, loving day.